I think for us, it's always been about building a company that is here to stay, that is here for the next 10, 20, 50 years.
This was Jan Koum, the co-founder of WhatsApp, at a tech conference on January 20th. Though Koum never intended to sell his company, a month later, Facebook bought it for at least $16 billion. Jan Koum and Brian Acton created WhatsApp in 2009. Today, it has 450 million users around the world. Koum grew up in Kiev, Ukraine until he was 16 when he moved to Mountain View, California. He dropped out of San Jose State University to devote his time to his job at Yahoo, where his WhatsApp co-founder Brian Acton was already a software engineer. In 2007, both Koum and Acton quit their jobs at Yahoo. Later, they both applied to work at Facebook, and both were rejected. Koum came up with the idea for WhatsApp, which has a business strategy that's very different from Facebook's. You can see it here on this sign written by Brian Acton that's posted on Koum's desk. WhatsApp is free for users for the first year, and then it's $1 a year after that. It has no advertising, and it doesn't collect users' personal data. Koum's childhood in Kiev explains why he believes in privacy for WhatsApp users.
I grew up in a country where I remember my parents not being able to have a conversation on the phone. My mom would often say, "This is not a phone conversation, I'll tell you in person." The walls had ears and you couldn't speak freely.
On February 9th, Mark Zuckerberg asked Jan Koum to dinner at his home to propose the deal. Soon after, Koum caved to Facebook's offer, and also to its social network. A few hours after the acquisition was announced, he created a personal Facebook page.
Let me tell you this story, folks. It's about a guy named Jan, and it begins when he was 16, growing up in a rural village outside of Kiev, Ukraine. And as he told Forbes recently, this was not the greatest place or time to be Jewish. So a 16-year-old Jan and his housekeeper mom decide to move to America. Dad, he can't afford to come. And to save just a few pennies more, they fill a suitcase with Soviet-issue pens and notebooks so this boy would have supplies at his new school in glorious California. They land in Silicon Valley, where mom gets a job and then gets cancer. And they survive on her disability insurance and food stamps. Jan gets in a bit of trouble at school, but at the same time teaches himself computers with manuals from the used bookstore. He enrolls at San Jose State, but then drops out when Yahoo calls with a good job. And there he befriends a guy named Brian, who takes him under his wing when Jan's mom passes away. After almost a decade of mostly soulless engineering work at Yahoo, they quit, blow some of their savings on some travel, and go to South America, play some ultimate frisbee. They apply for jobs at Facebook and get rejected. But using one of those Soviet notebooks he was saving for special projects, Jan draws up plans for something called WhatsApp. His invention would allow a person to message anyone on any device anywhere in the world for free. And in just a couple years after launch, it explodes. And then Mark Zuckerberg calls. And at the Facebook founder's house, over chocolate-covered strawberries on this Valentine's Day, they strike a deal. And this week, along with their main investor, the guys make a symbolic trip back to the social services office where Jan used to line up for food stamps, and they sign the papers that make these guys billionaires. Now, to put this in perspective, Aaron, factoring in tonight's market cap, Walmart is worth about $108,000 per employee. GM, a little over $273,000. Apple, almost a whopping $6 million per full-time employee. But WhatsApp just sold for $344 million per employee. They only have 55 people working there, although they are hiring.